Minister, there's a number of schemes across the country, and I'm aware of two of them in my own county in Wexford, one in Bunclody and one in Wexford Town, provided by FDYS, where they provide childcare schemes to people who, the children of sometimes vulnerable adults, sometimes adults who are in a series, perhaps addictive issues or mental health issues. And these schemes, in terms of provision of childcare, are more in the nature of intervention, I suppose, and welfare type schemes. Their funding is going to be cut under the new scheme. They're going to lose their funding, and these schemes are going to be gone. These children benefit greatly from these schemes. It helps them keep them effectively setting them up for school. It keeps them, I suppose, they're being provided with food, they're being provided with a little bit of support that will not be. Now, these are, their parents are not going to be benefiting from work activation programs. Their parents, sometimes they can't read or write. As I say, sometimes they're from very difficult backgrounds, there may be mental health issues. But the people, for example, the FDYS are telling me their schemes are going to be now gone. We're hearing of similar situations across the country. Carlow is another situation as well. So it is. I would ask, Minister, that something will be put in place to ensure that these schemes are kept in place. The one in Bunclody, €36,000 a year, but it is providing phenomenal support and value for money for these children. And it is about the children here. I'm not worried about the parents. It is about the children and the supports that they are getting, and it needs to be continued.
Minister?
Deputy, I certainly say that, we will take a look at those specific settings that you identify because, we want to make sure that certainly supports that have been there for parents and children in the past in terms of the way that we've provided the funding, that the support should still be there. I don't really maybe want to comment further in relation to those specific settings. I'm not sure exactly what's going on there, but we will take a look at that. I would say, however, that more generally what I've been trying to describe is, I think with the introduction of the National Childcare Scheme, that those who are making the least or on the lowest income will get the most, and that in fact we're trying to ensure that that continues as we move towards the National Childcare Scheme. There is secondly, there is also within the National Childcare Scheme, we do have what I've spoken about before, sponsorship arrangements. So, for example, if we have teen parents who are still in education and training, the Minister for Education and Skills sponsor them. They get free childcare. Or if we have refugees and asylum seekers and they need support, and they are sponsored by the Department of Justice and Equality, they would get free childcare. To promote the welfare of children, TUSLA is often sponsors children, if they say they're sponsored, that they would get free childcare. So there's sponsor arrangements, there's the low-income focus, etc., the vulnerable children, vulnerable family arrangements. In relation to those specific settings that you identify, we will take a look. There may be something else going on there.
Yeah, thank you, Minister. I know you've listed out a number of very different situations there. The difficulty seems to be that the codifying of the childcare programme, that there are certain programmes which are going to fall between the cracks, and as I understand, some of the hours are going to be reduced from 40 hours down to 15 hours for some of them. Can I suggest that perhaps the Minister's office could make contact with Mr. Kieran Donoghue, who's over the FDYS down there, who's helping to provide these schemes. And as I say, I've talked to a number of my colleagues in other parts of the country as well. There are schemes currently in place. They don't fall into any of those particular categories, but they are providing very good childcare schemes in very particular vulnerable areas across the country, and I think they are falling between the cracks. It was kind of a case of maybe they were shoehorned into the previous system, and the codification is probably perhaps hurting them.
Yes, we'll do that. We will do that. We will do that.